Bonjour, Haddad. Bonjour.
Westie, how are you, mate?
What's behind you?
Sorry, mate.
What's behind you?
The Eiffel Tower and a whole lot of French and foreigners everywhere. There's
Yeah, there
people
you go. I can see
everywhere.
it in the edge of your picture now. Oh, terrible spot you are on the edge of the Seine with the Eiffel Tower behind you. You're on the ground this morning, heading off to canoe slalom, I think, later today.
Yeah, I am, mate. Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. I'm one station short. I was supposed to get off over there. I'm just reacquainting myself with the metro slowly. But it's actually, since the 8 years ago when I was here, it's much better. They've got 2 apps. Everything's on an app. Tells you where to get on,
Yeah.
where to get off, everything. And they've got a special one that tells you where the venues are and how to get there. So it's pretty good. Pretty well organised, to be honest.
And I think you get free transport with your Olympic tickets.
Don't know. Well, I don't know.
I believe so.
I believe,
Yeah. I'm not there. You're there, but I'm telling you.
I only. Well, you know more than me. I only just got off a 7-hour flight from Perth about 3 or 4 hours ago.
Yeah, Dreamliner.
I stay awake all day, as you know the rules. Stay awake all day. Yeah, okay. So.
Exactly. On the Dreamliner. Mate, and you're going to get to the water polo shortly. Nick Hodges, we're all so proud of him being an Olympic referee. He's timekeeper tonight for the Italy-Greece game, which is super important because Greece can win and go to the top of the ladder. Italy on 11 points, Greece on 8 points, Croatia 9, USA 6. So Croatia plays USA. So that group A is going to shuffle around, depends on results.
And that'll depend who we play because we're safe. We're number 2 no matter what happens. So that's it. Yeah, there's people walking behind. They can hear me.
Yeah, and waving at you. Mate, fantastic. I won't keep you for too long. We've got another special guest on our show after the men's game tonight. So we want to beat Japan, but it's not really important, is it? We just want to play well and play well, get through our systems, and then tune up for the quarterfinal.
I'd love to have got to that game, but it's no tickets. So I'm going to canoe slalom anyway, but there's no tickets. But Hardy and myself are working really hard to get quarterfinal tickets. We've now been told Australia will be in the second session at 7 o'clock. We got some in-fight information on that, which was really good. So he's still down in Marseille, comes up in the morning of the 7th. We're both just online non-stop. 2 old blokes with a pint of beer trying to get tickets.
Well, you look, currently we're going to finish in second. So third in the crossover would be Greece, unless Greece win and go up the ladder. USA win, they can go to second place. So, and Croatia win, they can go to first place. So we could get any of those 3 teams.
I'd certainly say to you that this is the greatest Olympic classification section ever for Australia. Women on top of their group, men number 2. Sure, it's not quarterfinals yet. It can't compare to the gold medal in Sydney for sure. This is the greatest classification we've ever had by a long way. First and second in our groups. So, England kept saying, bring it home. They can go to Blazers. Let's bring the gold medal home to us and out of Europe.
Well, the women's is our gold medal. We won the first one, so I think it is bringing it home for us. And the men, the men got in 48 for the first time, and there's a really great generation, sort of Tom Hode's era through the 60s and 70s that really pioneered water polo for Australia and the men. And then a great generation after that, obviously the boys that got the 9-8 victory over Hungary back in 92, and they were super proud of the boys doing it here in Paris.
Yeah. And the team's very aware of the past. I was texting with Blake the other night. He was saying he's so grateful for all the people in the past that built Australia to where it is and how they're playing for all of them. So it's fantastic. And, somebody forgot to tell these guys about when you're 3 goals down against Hungary, it's hard. It doesn't seem to make any difference.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's,
we're just very scared at the moment and doing a lot of research because they probably didn't do it before the Olympics.
Everyone's buzzing in Australia. The whole water polo community in Australia is buzzing. As you know, you've only just left Australia, got to Paris, and you can now just absorb that wonderful French culture and just the Olympics. I mean, nothing like a country celebrating a home Olympics.
Oh, it's pretty special. It is. You can see with the Fox girls, the French are cheering as much as the Australians because they're both born in Marseille, but they're Australians. And
Mm.
it's interesting that French flags everywhere this morning. People with Olympic stuff, so passionate, singing Marseille on the side of the street, things like that. It's unbelievable. So good. It reminds me of Sydney. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Same atmosphere.
It's, we've been through a home Olympics and
Yeah.
just nothing compares.
Makes you realise how good Brisbane's going to be.
Yeah. And go off. I know you're great friends with the Fox family through your time as section manager for canoe and kayak in Sydney. So go and catch up. Congratulate Jess from all of the water polo community. Tell her, we're all cheering her on as well. And her sister, Naomi, hope she gets a gold tonight as well.
I'll be lucky if I see Richard. I won't be able to see the others. You know what security's like, mate. And he's commentating, so that should work out as well. All right,
Noel,
have a great
just
day.
walk through like you own the place, mate. Just walk through like you own the place.
Bring me every day. I'll give you an update.
Okay, no problem.
Take care, pal.
And a beret and a bike. See ya. Welcome, Richie Campbell. First time here on Stick to Water Polo. Welcome back, Deb Watson. Obviously,
thanks for having me, Westie.
No problem. So we just heard from Noel Harrod in Paris. We're all very jealous. We got FOMO.
Yeah, wasn't he in a good spot? How unlucky getting off the train at the tube at the wrong place and coming up with that view.
Yeah, Eiffel Tower in the background. Well, guys, let's dive straight into the game. Australia-Japan, we had a chance with 11 seconds to go to tie it up and take it to penalties. Does it really matter? We were still going to come second in the group. It didn't change our quarterfinal destination or our path into the quarterfinals. And, I wasn't overly concerned looking at the game. Obviously, we didn't execute a few things. I just think a bit of a break for the boys is okay. What do you think, Richie?
Yeah, well, they blew them away that first quarter. Weren't we up 5-1 at one point or something? And they came out firing. All their shots were going in. They were playing really good defense. But then it kind of, you let Japan back into it and they just start taking risks in their defense, which generates counterattacks, and all of a sudden you're level again. But yeah, I know it's always going to be a hard one because yes, they're going to finish second regardless. However, yeah, you worry about burning them out against a team against Japan because even in the round games, you look at all the other teams that played Japan, they were kind of, a little bit tighter that 2 days later. So I'm not worried about the boys being tired. They've played Japan, several times before, but I think, I don't know, did they relax a little bit in the second half maybe? I don't know. But they still looked good. It's just, it was a goal-a-thon.
That always is with Japan. I mean, you've played against Japan. I mean, it's just a different kind of game, really, than what they're going to face in the quarterfinals and semifinals when they get through.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A totally different game. Yeah, sometimes you think it's not water polo, but it is, and it's just Japan style of water polo. But yeah, whoever they match up in the quarterfinals is going to be a completely different game. So they're going to have to, reset themselves and get ready for that one.
Deb, your take on the game?
Yeah, I think, that game really didn't have a lot to offer for Australia to play the game. In that situation, you'd probably rather have a sharp training session because, you don't really want the boys switched on so much that they burn a lot of fuel. There was a lot of different, the time in the water would be different for a number of players. It was important to get everyone in the water. You didn't want your main stayers, I suppose, playing too many minutes, but then also you could see a few of the players getting a little bit frustrated as well, which because things weren't coming off, maybe they weren't getting the calls they were wanting to get, and maybe then a few shots started being taken that they, with a much lower percentage, and a bit of frustration creeps into your game. So they'll just be glad, I think, that game's over and done with. They'll have a good rest, sharpen up again tomorrow, and just completely refocus and go back to what they were doing, which was excellent teamwork, great communication. We saw glimpses of all of that tonight for sure, but certainly they weren't in mind sharp like they had been.
And I thought John Hedges coming in, obviously he has had 1 or 2 minutes in the tournament previous to the game today. Took him a few minutes to get into it. I thought he had some really good moments, some good touches, and I think that's important for his confidence. And you never know what happens to Porter, touch wood, no injuries or anything like that. But, you need Hedges to be ready to go. And I think it was good that he got a real good run in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I actually thought he might have started tonight, but I understand why he didn't as well. It's that fine balancing mode, but I definitely think super important for John to get some good water time, and and for the other players that haven't had a huge amount to get in there and give some of the other players a bit of a rest. Japan's a difficult team to play, especially when the game doesn't really mean anything.
So, Richie, you had a very storied career for the Aussie Sharks, captain the team, and multiple Olympics, etc., etc. How good are you feeling now, and how pleased does it make you to see the boys just going at the level they're going at?
It's a really good question, and people are actually asking me this a lot this week because it really is just crazy. Like, what they are doing is like phenomenal. And I've got lots of mixed emotions about it because, you're a bit like they look like it's just, they're doing it so easy. And I'm like, then I'm asking the questions like, why the hell why was it so hard for us to ever try and, get those wins? But I'm looking at them and they're just doing things completely different to how we ever did things. And I'm looking at how they are as a unit, how their coaching staff operates, and I actually speak to Nitties most days. Doesn't give me too much info, and I don't ask because you want to leave the boys alone and just let them do their thing. But I just think they're putting it all together because they're, as everyone's said, they're a bunch of Aussie battlers, maybe ridden them off at the start, but they've all come together. They're playing as a unit, playing as a team. Like, their defense is incredible. Tim's got them, playing the best Polo individually, but as a unit, and you've got the ultimate player manager and Nitties there, looking after them, I guarantee you, during the day and, prepping them before and after games. And then you got Vedran helping with the tactics as well. So I think the coaching staff is getting the best out of their unit, and they look unstoppable when they're playing. So, for me, I'm absolutely stoked for them, and so happy to see those guys play the best that they can. But then at the same time, it's just that weird feeling of, I don't know, like you want to be there.
Why not me? Why couldn't it be me? Yeah.
No, not so much that, like, whatever's happened in the past has happened in the past, and we did things differently, so that's fine. But it's more like it makes you want to be there, and it's like I'm not annoyed that I'm not there because it's my life's completely different now. But it's just you're so happy for them that you want to be a part of it. So,
hey, Richie,
but
that never changes. I still wish I could be there. It's just so fun, right? It's just so fun watching, and it's all the, it's not necessarily, it's just everything, it's such a great game, and the parts, you miss it forever, but it's really difficult. But defensively, which you touched on, they've done a remarkable job. In how long were they on tour for? 6-7 weeks to their community?
Yeah, almost 2 months, I think.
But, just their improvement in their just movement and the way that it's just that one piece of the puzzle moves one place and then it goes, and it's just flowing so beautifully, and the desperation coming up with the 50-50 balls, the 60-40 balls, and they're just in the right spot. Like, how hard have they had to work to get that happening in such a short period of time?
Yeah, and disregarding that last game, like, I think what were they at, like 24 or 26 goals against or whatnot? Like, their blocking has been unbelievable. They're playing really good zone defense, and they're channeling, and Porter's being amazing, but they're just channeling everything straight to Porter, and he's gobbling it up. So their defense has just been unstoppable, and I know Tim Hamill is very stats orientated, and he knows that blocking, for us in the past was, one of our worst parts of our game. So it looks like they've just gone and worked on blocking as much as they can, and it really shows. Their defense is really, really solid.
I think that highlights in the Serbia game when you've got Mandic, who they lost today to Hungary, but Mandic scored 5 out of 13, and we kept him completely quiet. He's the leading scorer in the tournament with 20 goals.
Wow.
And we kept him very, very quiet. I mean, that just is such a huge congratulations for the defence.
Mm.
Yeah,
What's that, Deb?
I think he only scored 2 against us, didn't he?
2, yeah, it was pretty quiet. We kept him pretty quiet. Yeah, you know, well,
yeah,
you
remarkable.
guys
played. Oh dear.
Yeah, two's quiet for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was. But and again, you touched on your feelings, Richie. Obviously, your last Olympic campaign in Tokyo was such a disrupted preparation, so disjointed, so difficult for you guys to go there. And I know you were all bitterly disappointed, even though you just threw everything at the opposition and it didn't go your way. You know, so to see it happen now, and for everyone who's watched Australia for a long time, like I have and Deb has, everyone, you know, watching the men and the women, it's, you know, to watch them both top of the group in the women, second in the men, just it's out of this world.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that, you know, on the men's side they've scored the most points ever in Olympic campaign for the men's team.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I think the best we got was 2.5 wins or something, which didn't even get us through. But yeah, like, and same with the women, like they're topping the group, and which I think they should. Like, I think Australia should be top 4 in the women's every time they play. But the men are just going above and beyond at the moment, and it's impressive. It's just crazy. It's wild water polo, that's for sure.
Well, the other one too is the 9-8 victory over Hungary. Hadn't done that since 1992, and so that generation of players who are in Barcelona are all just, woohoo! This is just sensational.
Yeah, it's crazy. And as I said, like, you can look at the past and, you know, the playing group and the teams that you've had in the past, but like, this team is it the best team we've had based on their results? I don't know. I think so. Like, it's got to be, right? You know, points do, you know, determine when you're the best. So, like, they do have to, like, the next phase with the quarterfinal, they need to, you know, shape up and get ready. And if they, like, I think anything can happen. They can win that, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah, we just don't know who they're going to play at this stage, just because of the crossovers. If I go back to Group A quickly, Italy on top. So we would play third. So it's, at the moment, it's Greece. It could be USA, and it could be Croatia. So, you know,
I think they'll be right with whoever they play. So,
yeah,
you know,
certainly if they keep playing, you know, Richie, attacking wise as well, you know, like, just, we were talking about their defence all the time, but I've never seen the Australian men's team shoot so consistently high, as in not high quality of shooting, like all over the team. Like, it's not just 1 or 2 players that are managing to, you know, pull off some absolutely sensational shots. Every shot that seems to be coming out of the hand looks brilliant.
yeah, like, and it just, I don't know, like, it goes back to, they just look like they're playing with a lot of fun, a lot of pride, like, playing with each other, like, they're playing as a unit, playing as a team, like, and it leads in their attack as well as their defense. Like, they probably went into the tournament having no pressure on them because, you know, of the team that they are, and they're rolling with it, like, and they're just playing, it looks like they're just playing really fun water polo. Like, that's the best way to describe it, is it looks fun.
It does look fun. Also, too, like Blake and Nathan, you know, just as co-captains, they're both having outstanding tournaments and not necessarily playing the roles that you would see them usually play. I feel like they're doing everything they need to do to get the best performance out of their team members. You know, like Nathan's well, actually, Blake is the one that's just going up and down and just covering and all over the place. Still managing to play his great game.
Yeah.
Nathan's playing a lot of defensive minutes, but then quite happy. He's just filling gaps as well. They're just playing beautiful captain's knocks, I think.
Yeah, and like like that, as I said before, like I think the coaching staff are just getting the best out of the playing group, like, and that's what it looks like. They're playing with no fear. They're ripping in, and Nathan and Blake are both going up and down, and like they're the older ones in the team, and you think sometimes like you get to a point where there's a bit of a decline in your playing, but they've jumped to another level, and they're playing really well, but they're also bringing all the young guys up with them. So yeah, I think it's full credit to the coaching staff. They're getting the absolute best out of those players at the moment, and yeah, they seem unstoppable.
That tour, this 5 or 6 weeks leading into Paris, whatever they did, just bottle it and do it again and again and again, because they found a piece of magic somehow. No disrespect. I was optimistic, but not super confident that we'd get out of the group, because I know how hard it is, and I know how tough all those teams are that we had to play in our group, and we've done it. Not with these.
I don't think we're the only one, Westie. Like, yeah. I think everyone was a bit the same, and that's what they're kind of been using. Like that, like I even look at it as like they haven't been the most supported team like leading into this Olympics, and that's not even just from their family and friends always got their back, but like if we're talking from a financially supported team like going to the Olympics, they're just they were written off essentially, and they're just showing the world that they can actually do it. So get Disney on a movie to make about them at the end of this, I think.
There's got to be a Netflix series about the water polo, doesn't there? They've done on every other sport.
Yeah.
Or a
100%.
rich benefactor out there that go, wow, these boys are doing this on the cost of a smelly, oily rag, and what about if I put some money behind them?
Yeah.
So we can always hope.
All of them are on the St. Cass payroll, working for me, being coaches at the moment. So,
wow, lucky
well, you're
kids.
the benefactor, mate. I mean, because through your career how hard it was. The men's programs always struggled with money, and to get good funding in the last 20, 25, probably 30 years. So how tough it is, and it's just fantastic that you can give a little bit back. It just helps them every little tiny bit.
Oh yeah, I love looking after anyone. Like if you come into the school, you've actually got both men and women, and they all the players that have been junior teams or national league teams. They're all working at the school at the moment. So it's good, because then they're great coaches and influencers for the up and coming generation. But I always see it as it was always the same with me. Like there are always people looking out for me too and doing those sort of things. And I'll touch on him again, but like Nitties was the instigator of all that too. Like he's my boss at work, so he loves looking after all the guys, and that's why he's the ultimate player manager. And I don't know why it took so long for someone to get him onto a national team gig, because over the past 10 years he's just been a phenomenal coach. So it's like I'm stoked for him too to be there and be able to use his expertise on this playing group, because it's just paying off. Him and Tim are a great combo, and with Vedran as well, it's just they're an ultimate coaching unit as well as their unit in the water.
Yeah, that's so true.
Nitties has an outstanding coaching record. Sorry, Deb. Nitties has an outstanding coaching record at your club at the West Magpies in the AWL. What do you guys? 7 titles now, I think. West over the history, equal with Fremantle, the most titles ever won in the league.
Yeah, I honestly I don't really know, but I know Nitties was there for all of them. So, bar the 2008 one, yeah. So, like, and he gets the best out of your guys, like he always has. So, and Tim's the same. Like, even though he was our assistant coach for a long time, I think he's fully, flourishing in the head coach role and utilising what he's got around him to get the best out of the players.
Well, that's how all the top coaches do it now, isn't it? You've got your head coach and you've got some great people around you, and if you're prepared to use them and work together, you can get so much out of the whole program. And obviously Tim's doing that; he's doing a brilliant job, and it's just so I just am so excited for the men's team. Obviously the women as well. It just goes without saying, but yeah, I'm super excited to see where the men can take this.
Yeah, same here. We'll find out on Wednesday.
So what's tomorrow going to look like?
Certainly has grown in. Timmy certainly has grown in stature as a coach. One other quick question before we get on to quarterfinals and women's games and stuff. Porter, was Porter in the program when you were playing, Richie?
He was in and out. He would, because he was I think he was at USC most of the time too. So he was in and out. He was still like a younger player. But yeah, he wasn't around too much because we did have depth in that goalkeeper area. But yeah, he wasn't there a lot of time. He was attending camps and whatnot, but not. I don't think I played a major tournament with him.
Okay, yeah, because you know that you can't win without a world-class goalkeeper, and we've had some terrific keepers across the history of water polo in the men's and women's programs, but Porter's just at another level.
Yeah, he is playing out of his skin and definitely like goalie of the tournament at the moment, in my eyes. But I say that, and then I look at their defence as well, and I always, you got to give credit to the defence because, maybe they're making it easy for him. But like they are channeling very well, and like they're getting good blocks, as we said. And yeah, he is reading everything really well, and he's seeing it really well, and he's getting up in the other guys' faces, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but he seems to be rattling the opposition. So, if it works, it works. So keep running it.
We have had some conversations, Deb and I, the difference between Gabby Palm and Nick Porter. She's just laser focused, and he's little celebration, off he goes again. I don't know if it's the influence of him playing in Spain. You remember that I said the other day, Deb, Jesus Royan, the great Spanish keeper from the 90s and early 2000s, and he was just a very animated character, which drove Gianni Lonzi, the head of the technical water polo committee, used to drive him mad, and he'd be tell him to stop. He just hated it, but and then the men claim the goals more than the women do. The women just score the goal, go back and get on with it, and the men seem to be
sprint back to halfway.
Slowly changing. There's a few celebrations going on at the minute in the girls, which is nice to see as well. But yeah, who doesn't love a double fist pump? If I could get that high out of the water, I'm sure I would have done that. Or if I'd scored a goal back in those days. But anyway.
No, I wasn't big on the claims either. I don't think I've ever done one. So there's a stat for you, Westie.
Well, you were in the top outside shooters during your career, and yeah, you just put them in and swim back to halfway and get on with the job.
Slowly though, recovered, and then get ready for defense.
I've got to quote Deb. She said, "I do like the men with the big claims. They get so high out of the water, you can see their whole torso. It's fantastic."
Oh well, Hey,
Why not?
Good is it?
Why not?
Yeah. How good is it that?
Got to sell the sport somehow.
Yeah, totally. How good is it that the media are finally jumping on the bandwagon too? They're slow to come to the party, but they're getting onto it. It's great.
Yeah. Now, I'm just going to get a slide up here if it'll come up in a second here. There we go. I'll just pause it for a second. So that is the times in the official bracket report from the Olympic site. A1B4, so that would be Serbia is fourth in Group B at 2,200. Australia at this stage, it looks like they're playing at 11:30 on the 7th of August as second in Group B. But those times may change. So you'll need to get onto the website and have a look. And getting across into the other group, Hungary are third in Group B. So they've got the 3 a.m. game. And then Spain topping the group. They're the 4:35 game. So that looks like where they are at the moment. Don't quote me that it's set in stone because they may jig them around based on what games they want for TV for, the US men, whatever, in the new stadium there. The swimming's finished. They've got 14,000 seats, and it's packed and rocking and rolling. I got a couple of texts from there tonight.
Yeah, the new stadium looks just absolutely incredible. It would have been, it was a good experience for the men are lucky. They've played a full round at the new venue as well, whereas the girls will just turn up straight away for the quarterfinals to pack stadium. So, definitely an advantage having that extra game and just having a good look at what's around you for the men tonight.
So coming up now, that's what we know in the women, 6th of August, Canada, Spain. Richie, you tip there?
The Spanish for sure.
And the other one, the Netherlands, Italy?
That's a tough one because the games have been very hit and miss from both of those teams. So, I'm gonna back Italy as a roughie.
Richie. Yeah, good one.
Go.
Yeah.
I was on Spain and Netherlands. What are you on, Deb?
Spain and Netherlands. But I do think that Italy will make it very difficult for them.
Yeah, it'll be a close one.
So now, there we go. We're into the other bracket there. Australia, Greece. I don't even have to ask everyone. It's Australia all the way, isn't it?
Yep, no brainer.
Yeah, no brainer.
Yeah, no question there. And hopefully they get it done and don't have to go to penalties because my heart can't take much more of that.
It's a good matchup. I think they'll do it.
Yeah,
comfortably.
Definitely. And
I think
Hungary,
it's the best
USA.
one for them.
Hungary beat them in the warm up games. But what do you take from the warm up games? Not too much. Hungary were in the USA. That's our semi final opponent when we go through.
They'll be at the business end of the season, so they'll be switched on. The US, I think they'll do it comfortably as well.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. So Australia, US semi final, and then maybe Spain, Netherlands, possibly, or Spain, Italy.
We'll see. We'll see who's right.
So we're kind of glad we're doing this tonight, Deb, because we've been pretty bleary-eyed, Richie. We've been getting up, same thing. You've got kids, you've got work, late night watching the games, and then trying to get a bit of rest in and go and do your job. It's taxing, but it's so enjoyable.
Yeah, well, it's the best time to watch 2 weeks of sport. It's just all there for you. So, and as I said to you before, it's a bit weird not being there because it's the first time I haven't been there in however long. So, but yeah, watching it on TV and I'm flicking and watching random sports. I don't normally watch the equestrian, but it was on the other night, so
Richie.
It's interesting.
that's where it starts, isn't it?
Well, you think about taking up hobby horsing, maybe career change?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Deb. Deb's an honorary member of the club, I think. So,
oh dear,
she's trying to get me down. No, but no, yeah, I'm buggered during the day because you're up like late night watching sport, and then especially when the Aussies are playing because you're either texting all your friends about what the game is and people asking you questions, and then, you're wired and I'm going to bed and I'm still thinking about it. So that was always the hardest thing too when you're a player, was me going to bed after I've played a game. I feel like I'm playing the game still,
It is exhausting.
Yeah, it's the mental trying to just get yourself back down and just calm down and just, it's hard. It's hard when you're pumped up at an event, playing, and I have the same if I've been commentating and it's a really good evening of water polo and I get home and I'm just hyper. I can't sleep either. Yeah.
I will say though, it feels like watching the game is so much quicker than when you actually play it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like games when you used to play I felt like they went forever, but watching the game, it's over in heartbeat. It's good. That's what it feels like anyway.
You're not quite as exhausted either, are you?
Oh, well, I don't know. Sometimes I am.
It's worse watching.
It's going to shootout. Yeah, watching.
I think heart rate wise and just feeling sick watching. Honestly, last night watching the girls play, I was sort of hiding in the kitchen, peering around the door because I just couldn't stand watching another penalty shootout. It was terrible. Much rather be in there taking
and
one.
you can't do anything
Yeah,
about it either.
exactly right.
Richie, do you find yourself
You're not in
Do
control.
you find yourself sitting in the chair, twitching like you've thrown the shot, or you've jumped across to make a block? You sort of almost involuntarily
yes.
making the moves.
Not voluntary, but you do see it. Like, I don't think physically my body works as fast anymore, but my brain still does. So, like you see plays and you read things and you're just a bit, you get frustrated or you're amazed by like what some players are doing. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm not twitching, but it's definitely, you're getting the urge. Like, watching every game makes me just want to get back in the pool and start training again. Then I'm just like, no way, that's going to be a nightmare itself. So,
Masters is coming up, Richie.
yeah, it's hard.
Oh yeah, you'd be shooing in a few Masters teams, mate. They'd be lucky. They'd grab you straight away.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. Like, even today, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get in the pool now. Like, they're giving me the inspiration to get back in, but I don't want to play. It's more just general fitness.
Yeah.
What about the
So for
training,
you,
Richie? Oh, sorry.
no, go, Deb.
No, I was just going to say the playing is not appealing at all. I think it's the training that you miss. It's all the camaraderie with the people at training, having a bit of a laugh when you're having a throw and a shoot and all that sort of stuff. That side's appealing, but think about playing a game, you go, oh no.
That's it. Like hanging out with your mates for a couple of hours and then getting some work in. But like that's what it's all about. That's why training is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not always fun. It's hard work, but yeah, like that's what you get out of it. So is working hard with your some of your best mates. So but yeah, the game side of things and the tours and going away for 8 weeks, like yeah,
and eating.
And eating and doing all those little things right. Yeah, it's hard. And definitely I don't know, with two kids now, I'm just like, there's no way I could even get the energy or the strength to, try and play and train and look after them as well. So
looking after two young kids, you've almost got to be an Olympic athlete to keep up with the kids sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I can't keep up. It's sometimes I just feel hopeless. So yeah.
So one more quick question. What was it for you at the end when you decided to hang up the cap and retire? Was it physically the body, or was it mentally, or a combination of both? I mean, like at some point, time catches up with you and you know it's time to finish.
Yeah, it was a bit of both. It was a bit physically and mentally, but I think more mentally because I know that extra year put a lot of strain like on myself. Like it literally just delayed a year. And when they did cancel the Olympics, I think we found out it was during that National League season in like March or April or something. And they said, yeah, it's going to be off for a year. I was literally like, I didn't know if I could go another 10 months of training hard. Like it was, the end was so near, but then you get delayed again and it felt like it was another cycle almost. So by the end of that Olympics, by the end of Tokyo, it was, whilst I did love the process and the training, and it was completely different because we didn't have any games. We didn't train against anyone until we went to the US for 1 week. We went to Hawaii for 1 week. But yeah, it definitely took its toll on me more mentally than physically. Like I did feel good at the Olympics, but just not that I'd checked out towards the end. It was just, it was so much harder to get yourself up every game because, I don't know, it was just the challenge I had because it was such a different scenario, different environment. Like it was, that COVID Olympics was really hard. Yeah, I feel.
I sort of felt like for players like yourself who were at the back end of your careers, that, as you said, that extra year was really, really tough. For the younger ones coming through, and I'm going to probably pick out Tilly Kearns in the women, she might not have made 2020, but she certainly was ready by the time the games came in 2021. So it kind of had, detriment and benefit at both ends of the scale.
Yeah. I think for us too, like it was across the team, it was pure like disappointment as well, because like we'd got some of our best results those last 3 years leading into Tokyo, and then we've just gone, all right, nothing. You got to train by yourself for another year and then go to the Olympics and see what happens, you know? So it was just, it was a bit, heartbreaking that we were about to peak and then just, flatlined essentially. So
I think you had a terrific team leading into Tokyo, and as I said, we were hamstrung. It was difficult for Elvis, difficult for you guys, coaching staff and all the players. Whereas Europe and the US were playing and training and doing their regular stuff, and we were just stuck sort of out on the limb doing what you could do. So I felt for all the guys in Japan, because I just felt like there was so much more from that team that you weren't able to give it due to circumstance.
Yeah. No, we don't. I don't want to use that as an excuse either, because we still had the opportunity to go in there and do it. But I just think for me personally too, that extra year was pretty taxing, and maybe I was still happy with, I don't regret anything that we've done as a player, as an athlete, in that sort of cycle. But it was just when after that last game, I was just like, definitely that's me done.
You have been in some lower grades in Sydney, haven't you? Having a bit of a swim with a few mates.
Yeah, I have been. Actually, so I started playing 4th grade, which is good fun. We're playing with a bunch of the West guys that I've played National League and junior water polo with for years. So it's just, for me, it's a mental refresh. We still enjoy it and we have good fun. We don't train. It's just we rock up on a Tuesday night and jump in. But it's more just, it takes us, for everyone, I think it takes us back 10 years to what we used to do and hang out together a lot. And you get to do it for 2 hours once a week. So, that's all we need to sort of check in with each other. And it's like we're 16, 17 again.
It's a Tuesday night. It's minimal commitment. And it's a bunch of guys that you won some national titles with. And it's a phenomenal team. You turn up at the pool, I turn up the referee, and I see you guys and I'm like, oh my God, that's such a good team.
Yeah. Well, we want to, I think we want to challenge ourselves a little bit more, but everyone's got families and we can't do Saturdays. So Saturdays just takes it out. So, if you can pull up Water Polo New South Wales and get them to play 2nd or 3rd grade during the week, we'd probably have a, star-studded M4 team enter. So
I'm onto that. I'm going to try and get that to happen, because the women did it as well. Balmain did it with a lot of the girls from sort of their generation that played pretty high level together, and they were a lot of fun to go and watch as well. Because they just play, you guys you just play such good water polo. It's controlled. You know what's going on. It's almost like you know what the other guy's going to do. It's great to watch. Great for the young players to watch as well.
Yeah, it's crazy because some of us haven't played together for 6, 7 years, but it's still the same. When you play with someone for however many years, 10, 12 years, it's exactly the same. It's so good. That's why we enjoy it too. So it's just good fun to be able to play some good ball with each other.
Fantastic. Well, we might wrap it up. Deb, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just enjoying listening. It's been great.
It's so good to have you on, Richie. Great to have a conversation with you. I haven't seen you for ages, and mate, we also appreciate your insights. And everyone's just wrapped with the Aussies at the moment, and may it continue right through to the end of the Olympics.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me, Westie. And I think they're gonna do some really good things. I'm looking forward to these quarterfinals.
Bring it
You
on.
heard it from Richie Campbell.
Making history. Both of them top 4.
Ooh.
You heard it here first.